Well, it's here. Football time, baby. Although we've been talking football pretty much all the time. all off-season long, but guess what? It's game week, and I'm off and running already. Appreciate you tuning in. It's Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. I am Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned, and the only Bears that should be in your garbage. We're going to get things kicked off here with the Montana Football Hour. It'll be the last Montana Football Hour that's all preview-based. Next week, all the Montana Football Hour action in both Tutel and Nuanez between 8 and 10 a.m. and here on Nuanez Now at 4 p.m. will be reactions and sound bites from whatever goes down on Saturday, the season debut for teams across college football. Actually, in fact, Friday night is when it all gets started for the Big Sky Conference. Cal Poly hosts Idaho in a nationally televised game. A little bit funky here because Southern Utah and Utah Tech joining the conference means that this first week is the opening of conference play. So you got conference games right now coming up on Friday and Saturday. Southern Utah comes to Missoula to take on the University of Montana. Utah Tech hosts Montana State. And there's a whole other slate of Big Sky Conference games coming your way. So we will have plenty of reactions for you next Monday. This will be the last sort of preview of what's going down or what might go down and what we'll be watching when it comes to the opening of college football. NFL still a little ways away. September 9th is when the NFL opens. That is a Wednesday, and it is a rematch of the Super Bowl. That is the first game of the year. It will be the reigning champions, Seattle Seahawks versus the reigning AFC champions, New England Patriots. So we are doing division-by-division breakdowns. I had it planned out to go Thursday, then Tuesday, right before the NFL opens on Wednesday, September 9th. In an effort to get all of these in, though, and let you have an opportunity to go take our analysis to the betting machines, we will do the AFC and NFC North today. We will do the AFC and NFC South on Thursday. And then we'll have the AFC and NFC West next Thursday. That's September 3rd. And then we'll just have a general NFL blowout on September 8th, the day before the regular season opens. So I know I teased Thursday, Tuesday. Instead, it's going to be today, Thursday, Tuesday. So we're giving you a whole extra segment. So Brooks Nuanez talking all things AFC North and NFC North will join us here in hour number 2. Really fun conversation with him. The way this is all patterning out is in an effort to get you as much as we possibly can, as often as we possibly can, and get it all in before all of this is really rolling. We want to get you the best as we can. But the way that the All Football All the Time segment is going to work is Brooks and I go through each of the divisions. If you haven't heard one yet, we did one last Thursday. You can check that out on the Nuanez Now podcast or on the ESPN MT YouTube channel. And we go division by division and break down, first of all, broad narratives for every single team in that division. Then we guess what we think the over-under overall win total for that team should be. Then we reveal what the actual betting book has the over-under win total set at. And then we make our picks against what the book has at their disposal. So fun exercise. And I appreciate Brooks for all his research and dedicating so much time to this. Should be fun to have him riding shotgun with us, talking all things NFL all football season long here on Nuanez Now. So that's what's coming up. We're going to do the Montana Football Hour. We'll have interviews with both. We'll have an analysis piece with Samuel Akem. He'll always join us on Tuesdays here now on Nuanez Now. That'll be your lead segment every Tuesday, 4 p.m. inside the FCS with Samuel Akem. So looking forward to that. But he and I did a Big Sky Conference top 25 players in the Big Sky coming into 2026. We did that podcast last week. So I wanted to play an excerpt of that because I know the vast majority of the people listening to this show are either in Montana or connected to the state of Montana. And our top 10, unsurprisingly, was very Montana heavy. I think it was actually exclusively guys that play in the state of Montana, save I think one or two players from outside of the state of Montana. That's not surprising. I mean, I really do think that most of the best talent in the SCS right now, the top tier talent, in the FCS right now plays for the Bobcats or the Grizzlies. Like if you were to make a starting lineup of the 22 best FCS players, I think probably half of them, if not more, play for the Cats or the Griz. So I thought that was pertinent to share, and then you can go check out the whole hour-long podcast if you would like. But that's coming up here about 4:30. And then we'll also hear from Zac Crews. I know Cruz has been a polarizing figure, a much maligned beginning to his college football career, I guess ending to his high school football career, into then the beginning of his college football career. If you don't know about the whole controversy and scandal that accompanied Zac Crews when he was coming out of Missoula Sentinel, you can certainly use the Google machine to go find all that. We have done so much on that over the last however many years that I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time. But certainly Cruz was a Missoula Sentinel product who was committed to the Montana Grizzlies. He got in some trouble, stirred up some controversy online with a racially charged post, and then that ended up resulting in him first not signing with the Griz, then losing his opportunity with the Griz, then being caught in sort of purgatory of what his college football future might hold, then sort of resurrecting himself with another opportunity at Montana State. And then he was at Montana State for a little while before he started really making an impact, but he's started making a huge impact last year, and now he's expected to be one of the top players in the Big Sky Conference. So we caught up with Cruz. I guess we caught up with him about 3 weeks ago on Montana State's Media Day, and I've just been saving the interview for this week when we are debuting in-season ESPN radio content. So that's coming up about 4:45 as well. Looking forward to that. So there you go. That's your show outlook here. We are coming to you, as always, through the Grizzly Disposal studio. Need a roll-off construction box? Grizzly Disposal has them for you. If you're delayed service on your roll-off box, slowing down your construction project, don't do that. Just let Grizzly Disposal get you one within 24 hours. Don't wait days or even weeks. Grizzly Disposal has construction roll-off boxes in stock and can get them to you fast. Visit GrizzlyDisposal.com or call 406-541-7171. Grizzly Disposal, the only bears that should be in your garbage. My best of the weekend, spent the weekend with the family. I guess spent Friday evening into Saturday morning with my family at Fairmont Hot Springs. I had the great pleasure and great honor of being able to host the Big Sky High School Sports Blue and Gold Gala last October, and I was just the MC for the event. It was a really fun event. It's a great fundraiser that Big Sky High School does. They have asked me to MC it several times, and I had not been able to do so because of my football travel schedule. But last year, it ended up being on a weekend that I was home, so I gladly did that. And they were so cool. You know, they hooked me up with a great meal, and they also gave me a gift certificate to 1889 downtown, which was awesome. But of course, I'm there, and it is my alma mater, even though that was a long time ago. And I wanted to support the kids, the athletes, and so I bought a stay and play. And there was an auction, and I bought a stay and play to Fairmont. And then I've been sort of waiting. This was last October. I was sort of waiting to see when I should use it. And then I realized, oh gosh, this expires. It's just for this 2026 season, so I needed to use it. And so this last weekend was like, well, this is go time. This is the last time we have to use this. So I went over there with my family, hit the water slide. Man, the water slide at Fairmont, it hauls, man. That thing rips. Me and my 2-year-old son were going down it. He was loving it. I thought he might be scared. I think I was more scared than he was. So that was certainly fun. The water was nice, and then we played a little golf on Saturday afternoon before I came home. So that was my last summer activity. Now we're in the thick of it. So some bulletin board stuff for you, some briefs that are coming up. Tomorrow, we'll hear from Samuel Akem. Wednesday, we'll hear from Sam Herder, Hero Sports. Thursday, we will hear from Andre Patterson, talking all things NFL, and Brooks Nuanez, talking all things NFL. And then Friday, we'll hear from Carolyn the Chicken Doesn't Know Sports. So those are your regular contributors that are going to be appearing now during the 4 o'clock hour each weekday here on Nuanez Now. Then in hour number 2, we will have a sort of a conglomeration of content. We will have interviews from both the college football and high school ranks. We'll still have our Griz Star of the Week, our Montana State Minute, our Prep Extra, and our Treasure State Stars. And then sometimes we'll have some actualities from the morning show, our new morning show, which launched this morning. Tutel Nuanez back in the fold. Ryan Tutel and I did this from 2017 to 2020. Actually, I guess early 2021. And then he's been on a meandering gypsy-like journey for quite some time, but now he's back. And happy to have one of my great friends back in the studio with us. So please add that to your calendars. 8 a.m. every weekday, Colter Nuanez live from the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. And so in an effort to make our work efficient, but also keep you entertained and have drive time shows in the morning and the afternoon and keep hearing from some of your favorite contributors, that's what we're going to do. We'll have all your favorites from Nuanez Now during this 4 to 6 slot, Monday through Friday. And then we'll also have all your favorite interviews. And then we'll also have a little bit of replay from the morning show. So stay tuned for all of that. And we really appreciate you for following along. Do us a favor. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go follow us along on Facebook. And go subscribe to our podcast feed as well. Colter Nuanez podcast is now up. So you can follow along with that every single day. And you can also follow along with this Nuanez Now podcast. And please just go subscribe to our ESPN MT YouTube page. You'll find both shows every day right there. So appreciate you for doing all that. It's really easy. All you got to do is just click subscribe. It really helps us. So please go do that if you are so inclined. Let's dive into it. It's the Montana Football Hour. It's proudly presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn. Angie Miller of Ryan Miller and Coburn Law has a background in biology and years of handling medical malpractice cases. Angie speaks the language of medicine, turning complex records into clear winning cases. She spots what others miss, working seamlessly with experts, and holds negligent parties accountable. That precision makes her an ace personal injury lawyer, fighting for full compensation so you can heal. Need a powerful advocate who truly understands the science? Call Ryan Miller and Coburn and ask for Angie Miller today. Call 406-542-2233 or visit rmcattorneys.com. I was going through some old outlines, and back on August 3rd, which was the first Montana Football Hour of the year, I gave you the things I was looking at for fall camp for the Cats and the Griz. Let's go through those and see what answers we got and what remains a mystery going into the openers. Again, Montana hosts Southern Utah, 7 p.m. kick from Washington Grizzly Stadium. It is officially the 40th anniversary of Washington Grizzly Stadium, so this is certainly a year of anniversaries. I've said this before, but we'll certainly be talking a ton about the anniversaries from around the state of Montana, whether that is the 50th anniversary of Montana State's 1976 National Championship team, or the 40th anniversary of Washington Grizzly Stadium, the 40th anniversary of the tradition of number 37 for the University of Montana, or the 25th anniversary of the last time the Griz won a national championship back in 2001. We'll be talking about all those things. 3 for the Griz, 1 for the Cats, but certainly a huge one for the Cats with the 50th anniversary of that 76 team. That was a gigantic moment in the history of the Big Sky Conference, as well as the history of Montana State football, certainly. So we'll be talking about all those things. But that the 40th anniversary of Washington Griz, officially, the celebration gets underway on Saturday night at the premier. I mean, at least one of, I would argue, the premier venue in the football championship subdivision. So Utah in town for that one. There's still tickets available, single game tickets. There's also a limited number of season tickets available as well, and mini plans are still available too. If you'd like to go check out the Griz against Southern Utah, visit gogriz.com/tickets. Get the 40th anniversary celebration going in short order. Montana State, they're in St. George, Utah. That one kicks 7 p.m. local time, but I think I'm unsure if St. George is on Mountain Time or Pacific Time. I actually think it might be Mountain Time. It's an 8 p.m. kick regardless in Montana, and I know part of that is Utah Tech providing a little bit of a courtesy for Montana State just because St. George is hotter than hell. I mean, it is so hot down there. And last time I was down there, I played golf at Soldier Hollow, which is a cool, Sandy Hollow. Soldier Hollow is the old course we used to play at Park City for the Big Sky kickoff. But Sandy Hollow, great course. But man, I was drenched in sweat by the time we were done. It was a super, super hot day. But that's your Montana State opener at 8 p.m. Utah Tech in St. George, Utah. All right, so let's go back and forth. Cats and Griz, Cats and Griz, Griz and Cats, Griz and Cats. Start with the Griz, because we are coming to you from the Missoula Broadcasting Company. The Griz, the number one thing I had was what's the tenor of camp based on the new coaches? And I got to say, I was impressed with the way that the coaching staff operated. I think Bobby Kennedy is very comfortable in his shoes as a first-year head coach. I think that Eric Sanders, the defensive coordinator, is a very inspired guy. I think that he is passionate about it. I think his defense is pretty complex from what I was been able to gather over the last 3 or 4 weeks. But I also think he's a good teacher of it, and I think his players are accepting that teaching pretty well, at least from what I was able to see at practice. Also, there's not a lot of difference on the way the offense is being coached. I think the offensive line is being coached objectively differently under Brett Myers. Myers, of course, the former Weber State offensive line coach, who is now at the University of Montana. You can tell the line fundamentals are being coached differently. I think the guys, they're being taught to fire off the ball a lot more aggressively. I think that it's less complicated than it has been in recent years. And I think that's going to help them. But the rest of the offense, I think that Eric Price, the receivers coach, is similar in style to Bobby Kennedy, so I don't think that's been that big of a transition. Dom Dasty, I think, is different than Justin Green at the running back spot, but I think the running backs are so talented, especially Eli Gilman, Dylan Payne, and Hasheem Jones, that the coach just got to, he's got to get them going every day. That's about it. Like, Gilman doesn't – you can always get better. You can always improve, but, like, you're not fine-tuning and trying to develop Gilman. Like, he's one of the best players in the country for a reason. So, I haven't noticed that much out of the running backs this period. I think they're just solid and good. Tight ends coach is still Rob Fennessy, and that remains, I think, a potential strength for the Griz. And then the offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach is Brett Pease, and he's his normal, ornery, hard coaching, hard cussing self. But there hasn't been that big of a difference between coaching styles on the offensive side. Defensive side has been a little bit different, but I do think it has a chance to be good for the Griz defensively. I do think the new defensive scheme change, once they settle in and get some game reps under their belt, I think that will be eventually an overall win for the Griz, but we'll see. On the Cat side, I was just so interested to see what is the actual mentality of the team. We heard from Taco Dowler, Adam Jones, Justin Lamson this offseason, and they said all the right things. We're focused. We've turned the page. What's won is done. We're moving towards 2026. Well, after then interviewing another 30 players, Montana State doled it out this August, which was very cool. But, myself, I got to sit down with, I think, 14 players over the last 3 weeks. And, Brent Vegan and offensive coordinator Pete Sturbeck and multiple of the defensive assistants. Tom Stuber, who's our Montana State beat writer for Skyline Sports, he also got a chance to sit down with 13 different Bobcat players. See, you total it all up, listen to all those interviews. The message is very cohesive, and you can tell there's no resting on the laurels. There is no complacency. There's no apathy. Seems like these guys are very driven. Seems like there's a very, very specific message about the fact that no Big Sky Conference team has ever won back-to-back championships. Yet, Montana State has a chance to do so. But I think that they really are dedicated toward chasing that goal, but also taking it one bite at a time. This is the Montana Football Hour. It's presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn. Ryan Miller and Coburn Law truly cares about their clients and their community. It's important to the trusted law firm that they can help Montanans who need a hand. Every year, Paul Ryan, Angie Miller, and Abigail Coburn find ways to give back to Missoula. Each August for more than 2 decades, Paul has given backpacks to children before the school year begins. Last I checked, they still have backpacks available, but I would check their social media to make sure that that's true. Or you can just give them a call, 406-542-2233. But either way, the firm always is giving back. They sponsor multiple youth sports teams. They sponsor nonprofits across the city. For more information on how about Ryan Miller and Coburn can help you, visit rmcattorneys.com. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys. Number 2 thing I was looking at for the Cats is their defensive line rotation, and I think that they've done a pretty good job of solidifying that. I think they knew what they had with Zac Cruz, certainly, who will join us here in about 30 minutes. Dom Solano was one of the big breakout players of spring ball. He's going to be the guy on the other edge, opposite Cruz. I think that really helps. Having a guy that, he's played a lot in games. He really came on the end of last year. He had a sack against the Griz in the first Brawl of the Wild. And I think Talon Marsh, he played a bunch of valuable reps last year on the inside when Paul Brott was really struggling with that midseason ankle injury. Zach Black is another guy that's been in the rotation at D tackle for 3 years. So he's played a lot, even though he hasn't been a starter. So he'll fit in nicely there. But then also the emergence of Josiah Asuega, he's going to be the guy that starts next to Marsh, I think. And then I think Black will be able to spell both of them. Hunter Charbonneau should also be in the mix there as well. But I think that Asuega is one of a handful of guys that if you haven't followed Bobcat football and you haven't followed Bobcat recruiting, is a guy that's coming off a red shirt that has a chance to be an immediate impact player. I think there's a couple of those guys. I think Carter Kernow, the tight end from Dillon. I think Asuega. I think that Parker Mady, who is a receiver out of Western Washington, and Xavier Aarons, who played quite a bit last year as a true freshman as well, kid out of Tacoma, Washington, who is headed into his sophomore year as an inside linebacker. Like all four of those guys have a real chance to make an impact immediately. You add that then to, let's just start with Asuega. You add that to a defensive line that already has four guys that have played a lot of ball. That really boosts you up. Linebacker, you already have seniors in Bryce Grebe and Neil Daly and Cole Taylor's technically a fourth-year guy. All three of those guys are great. Cole Taylor was a second-team All-League performer last year. I think that those three would be a headlining group in the Big Sky period. But you add Aarons to that mix, and now that's a really, really deep group. Receiver, same deal. You got Taco Deller. You got Jabez Woods. You got Jordan Reed, who's a converted quarterback who looks like a real threat. But then you add in the emergence of a guy like Mady. Again, embarrassment of riches. For tight end spot, you already have Rocky Lencioni, who had a great breakout freshman year a year ago at tight end. Rylan Schlepp, he's been one of your main tight ends for a couple years now, kid out of Gallatin High School. You bring in Bruin Fleischman as a transfer from Air Force. Kernow is going to be hard to keep off the field. He's their best inline blocker. He's a guy that everybody was raving about after spring football and fall camp. So I just think that the defensive line rotation with Asuega taking over likely a starting or a leading role is just a microcosm of a lot of the other stuff that's going to go on at Montana State. I was down watching that ESPN Radio. The second thing I was looking at for the Griz was Kaylee Ayat's presence, and I think he certainly has increased presence. You can tell he's super confident. He's carrying himself with the aura of an elite player. He's a guy that I think knows he needs to be a leader, but also wants to be a leader. His decision-making has been really, really good all fall camp. The way he gets the ball out quick has been very, very impressive. And I just think that he's primed for a huge senior year. We'll go quickly because I had 8 of these listed out for both these other teams. We'll just go rapid fire. Vibes at practice with the new defense for the Griz I think is good. I think they're picking it up. I still think there's a lot of mystery over who's going to be the guys that are playing. I think you know that Solomon Tuliapupu probably off the edge. I think Justin Eklund off the edge. Styles Goodman off the edge. I think all three of those guys are going to play quite a bit. I think Tyler King at defensive end, Hayden Schwartz at defensive end, Jake Mason at defensive tackle are all going to play quite a bit. Peyton Wing at inside linebacker, I think you have to get him on the field, as well as Clay Oven. Obviously, those guys are both all Big Sky caliber guys. Then in the secondary, I really have no idea. From what I've seen, Sage Solopek, number 20, has emerged as a guy. Chris Johnson, the second, number 6, has emerged as a guy. But I think there's a lot of mystery there. And then the safeties is all up for grabs. You have to think that Cade Cutler, Cade Boyd, and Tanner Huff, 3 guys from Montana, will heavily be in the mix. But where else does everybody else fit in? On the Cat side of things, Justin Lamson's improvements. I mean, I got to see some game film or I got to see some game action, but I think he's certainly improved, particularly in the understanding of his offense. We'll get through some of this other stuff I was watching maybe tomorrow during the show, but we are up against it. We got to take a break. We'll come back. We'll hear from Samuel Akem, one of your favorite guys. He will help us. Well, this is an excerpt from our podcast about the top 25 players in the Big Sky Conference. Our opinions, of course. But please let us know what you think of our opinions. 406-888-1029. Who do you think is the best player or the best players in the Big Sky Conference? Let us know. 406-888-1029. Montana Football Hour, probably presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn. When you're hurt, you want a law firm that knows Montana like you do. Ryan Miller and Coburn Law is your hometown personal injury team. Board of Montana values rooted in your community. Paul Ryan, Angie Miller, Abigail Coburn have deep Montana ties. The legal experts know the roads you drive, the doctors you trust, and the courts you'll face. Ryan Miller and Coburn are right here in Missoula answering your call, meeting you face-to-face, and standing by you every step of the way. Ryan Miller and Coburn Law, your Montana attorneys. Take a break, come back. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. 102.9 ESPN Radio. Welcome back. Nuanez now. 102.9 ESPN Radio, as well as 1029ESPN.com, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Appreciate you for hanging. I'm Colter Nuanez. We're coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal has one bin recycling. They can pick it up from your house twice a month. Your cans, your plastics, your cardboards. Let Grizzly Disposal take care of it for you. You want to make the switch or add the service or both, GrizzlyDisposal.com or 406-541-7171. Grizzly Disposal, the only Bears that should be in your garbage. Samuel Akem and I spent about a month hashing out our top 25 Big Sky Conference players, but then we decided to put it on the record in a podcast. You can find this on our podcast hosting platforms. But here's an excerpt of what Sammy and I think are the top 25 players coming into the 2026 football season here across Big Sky Conference football. You're listening to an excerpt of the top 25 football players according to myself and Samuel Akem from the Big Sky Breakdown podcast. It is part of the Montana Football Hour. The Montana Football Hour is probably presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn Law. Any and all needs when it comes to criminal defense, personal injury, or DUI. Ryan Miller, Coburn, your go-tos. Visit rmcattorneys.com for more information. Appreciate Samuel Akem for joining us here on Nuanez Now. He will help us spearhead Inside the FCS with Sammy Akem each Tuesday here on Nuanez Now, so stay tuned for that. We'll have a new one coming your way tomorrow. But in the meantime, we'll take a break. The Montana Football Hour rolls on. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. It's 102.9 ESPN Radio. Welcome back. It's Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. I'm Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned, the only Bears that should be in your garbage. Zac Cruz certainly has had we had an inauspicious and very maligned start to his football career. If you don't, his college football career, that is. After an outstanding run at Missoula Sentinel, where he helped lead the Spartans to back-to-back state championships, he they got himself in some off-the-field trouble. You can go research that if you'd like. We've already talked about it a ton here. But now here he is, a fifth-year senior, and I think he has real all-conference aspirations. I think he has real next-level aspirations as well. I am a guy that likes stories of redemption, and I think this is a story of redemption. Here's Zac Cruz on Nuanez Now. You're listening to the Montana Football Hour, probably presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn here on Nuanez Now. Abigail Coburn has built her reputation on federal drug cases, mastering search and seizure challenges, dismantling weak evidence, and navigating sentencing guidelines to help her clients. This experience makes her an ace when it comes to criminal defense, strategic, relentless, and focused on protecting your future. If you're facing federal drug charges, call Ryan Miller and Coburn and ask for Abigail Coburn today. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys. More with Zac Cruz right now. Appreciate Zac Cruz, Samuel Akem for joining us. Thanks so much for you listening as well. We'll have more college football talk tomorrow, but for now, we'll take a break, come back, talk all things NFL. Specifically, we'll talk about the AFC and the NFC North. Hour one in the books. Hour two coming your way. Don't change that dial. All football all the time. NFL style coming your way on the other side. It's Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Welcome back. Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, as well as 1029ESPN.com, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Appreciate you for hanging. I'm Colter Nuanez. We're coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal has one bin recycling. They can pick it up from your house twice a month. Your cans, your plastics, your cardboards. Let Grizzly Disposal take care of it for you. You want to make the switch or add the service or both, grizzlydisposal.com or 406-541-7171. Grizzly Disposal, the only bears that should be in your garbage. Samuel Akem and I spent about a month hashing out our top 25 Big Sky Conference players, but then we decided to put it on the record in a podcast. You can find this on our podcast hosting platforms. But here's an excerpt of what Sammy and I think are the top 25 players coming into the 2026 football season here across Big Sky Conference football. Going back and forth and racking our brains on this, and I decided, we kind of decided, hey, rather than like hashing it all out, let's just hash it out. let's just hash it out while we're talking. So this is the top 25 players in the Big Sky Conference coming into the 2026 season. And this is a matter of our opinions, our analysis, and our breakdowns of a lot of these guys. Where do you want to start? Do you want to go in reverse order? Should we try to go like 25 through 1? Should we try to go from the top down?
I feel like we should do process of elimination, because I feel like if we go 25 to 1, we might miss some guys.
Totally.
And, you get to like 5 and you're like, oh, like I probably would have this guy, So let's go 1 all the way to 25.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so my number one guy, and I know that I think that several of the best quarterbacks in the United States of America are in the Big Sky Conference.
Yep.
I think that Titan Fleischman from Montana State is the best NFL prospect.
Yes.
In the Big Sky Conference.
But how are we categorizing the guys? College players, prospects, or?
Well, that's what I'm going to get at, is that I think, though, just that the most purely talented, most transcendent, like unforgettable guy in the Big Sky is Eli Gilman. I've covered the Big Sky now for 20 years.
Yep.
And there is truly nobody that compares to him. I'm not saying he's the best, but in terms of his combination of raw speed and raw power, there really isn't anybody. We've seen big backs like Jesse Chapman at Eastern Washington and Lex Hilliard at Montana, who are bigger and maybe more powerful than Eli. We've seen a couple guys, not very many, but a couple like maybe Tywan Jones at Eastern, Elijah Dotson at Sac State, that are maybe a tad faster than Eli Gilman. But in terms of his power and speed combination, there's just nobody like him. And he also has the most uncommon story of any of the great Griz superstars ever. He doesn't have the story of being an underdog or, having to overcome all this stuff. The day he walked onto campus, Justin Green was pacing up and down the sidelines waiting to get this guy in the game. Like
that guy looks like an All-American.
I mean, the very first day of fall camp, I see Jay Green and I tap him. I'm like, "What's up with 10?" He's like, "Yeah, bro, that's the guy. That's the guy you're going to be watching scoring all the touchdowns for the next 5 years. So get used to it." So, I just think Gilman is a next level talent. It's actually crazy that he's been at Montana this whole time, that he stayed at Montana, and I hope Griz fans have enjoyed it, because I just think that he's the type of talent that comes along. I'm not even going to say only comes along every so often. I think he comes along never. I've never seen a guy on the offensive side, at least, that's like him. His only comp I've really seen at Montana is Tremaine Johnson. This is the only other guy that I've seen that is like that it was just FBS all day long, but still somehow played in the FCS.
So you would put him at number 1?
I'll put him number 1.
I'm not gonna lie, Colter. You actually just convinced me, because I would have the 2 top quarterbacks above him. But when you think about the Offensive Player of the Year award, Colter, that is voted on by the coaches. Think about the All-Conference awards; those are voted on by the coaches. Who did the coaches vote the best offensive player in the conference after watching what Justin Lamson did and after watching what Kali Yaya did?
Yeah, right, exactly.
They looked at Eli and said, "No, us as coaches, we believe this is the best." Now, maybe it wasn't a unanimous, because I don't think he was unanimous, but they don't tell us that. All we know is Eli Gilman got the most votes, and he ended up being Offensive Player of the Year. So enough coaches thought enough about Eli to say, no, this is the best offensive player in the conference. I agree with you. I like Eli Gilman at number 1.
What and the other part is that your head coach has to be the one that thinks that too.
Yep, absolutely.
So, basically Bobby Houck was saying, hey, this guy is our best offensive player. We got Kali Yaya, we got Michael Wortham. This guy is the one. I actually thought going into the voting that a Griz guy wouldn't win it, because I just figured that all 3 of the Griz guys would take votes from each other. I figured that first of all, I didn't know who Houck would nominate, but also I thought maybe one coach would say, but maybe Sac State's coach, maybe Brennan Marion would say Wortham, because Wortham went bananas, against Sac State. And so I figured maybe it would be somebody from a different team, but it ended up being Gilman. So a nod of respect to
be real,
him.
there wasn't a lot of options. I mean, you got Lamson, you got the 3 Montana guys. Who else really could have got it last year, to be real?
Yeah, no, that's right. It's exactly right. For
Jordan
sure.
Fisher, maybe. Samuel Batu, maybe. Neither of them had better seasons than, So
No.
I like Eli Gilman in 1. I'm with that. So number 2, I strongly believe that quarterbacks should be very high on this list because quarterbacks do a lot. Not only do quarterbacks do a lot and they have a lot asked of them, but also we have really good quarterbacks in the Big Sky Conference. I mean, anybody can look at the conference and say, Lamson and Ayat, the way they play the game, they are 2 of the top quarterbacks in the country. I have them as top 3 in the country. Whether you have Bo Brungard 1, 2, or 3, it does not matter to me. There's 3 clear-cut top quarterbacks in the country. It's Bo Brungard, it's Kali Ayat, and it's Justin Lamson. Who would you have number 2 given would you even have a quarterback at number 2, or who would you put at number 2? I would put Lamson at number 2, but where would you put who as your number 2?
You're listening to an excerpt of the top 25 football players according to myself and Samuel Akem from the Big Sky Breakdown podcast. It is part of the Montana Football Hour. The Montana Football Hour is probably presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn Law. Any and all needs when it comes to criminal defense, personal injury, or DUI. Ryan Miller, Coburn, your go-tos. Visit rmcattorneys.com for more information. Well, I really thought about Fleischman just because of not only the talent, but the story, like everything he's gone through, what he's been through to get back. I think if you were to I'm big on alpha dogs because there's difference between a leader and an alpha dog. I think that there's a lot of leaders on a team, and there's a lot of different types of leadership. There's guys that can lead vocally. There's guys that can lead by example. There's guys that are servant leaders or that are great friends. They can be there for you. There's glue guys. There's all that stuff. The best teams, though, have the alpha. Like the guy that it doesn't matter if he says a word. He's the guy that's walking out to the middle of the field during the coin toss. He's the guy that everybody's lining up behind when there's going to be a fight. And Fleischman is that guy. That said, I thought the way that Justin Lamson came alive and the way he grasped the offense for Montana State last year, and then the heater he went on between the Brawl 1.0 and the national championship game, I mean, it was as good of a streak as I've ever seen a quarterback have. He went from a very good player to he's a Bobcat legend after that.
Yeah.
People were literally talking at the bar if you would have asked people in the middle of October, where's Justin Lamson on the Mount Rushmore of Bobcat quarterbacks? People would have been like, get out of here.
Why are you even mentioning him in Mount Rushmore in the same sentence?
They would have been like, no. Travis Thule and Paul Dennehy and Kelly Bradley and Tommy Millott and Demarius McGee and Dakota Prukop. Lamson wouldn't have even been in the top 6, 7, 8 guys. Well, now it's like, how do you leave him off? I mean, he's got a natty. He's the most outstanding player in the national championship game. It's interesting because Ayat was first team all conference and Lamson was second team all conference. And it's almost like when that came out, it motivated Lamson to take it to the next level. His speech at the national championship parade, it was nothing but receipts. I heard you when you said this. I heard everybody when they said this, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going Lamson. I just think that the fact that he's got the ring and the fact that he was the most outstanding player in the game, I think it's hard to rank anybody ahead of him.
Yeah, I like Lamson at 2 as well. And, for me, it's really Lamson and Ayat as my 2 and 3. And what gives Lamson the nod above Ayat for me is the head-to-head matchup. Now, obviously, they're not playing against each other, but you both had an opportunity on the same game to two different occasions to make something happen. And Lamson got the best of you both times. And honestly, probably looked a little cleaner both times. Lamson was the cleaner quarterback in the Brawl 1.0 in Missoula, and Lamson was the cleaner quarterback in the Brawl 2.0 in Bozeman. So, that matters to me. The interceptions are always the problem for me with Ayat when I look at his numbers. And 9 interceptions to Lamson's 3. Lamson's got the nod for me. So I would have Lamson at 2. If I'm skipping ahead to tell you who my number 3 is, my number 3 is Kali Ayat.
That's definitely fair. And I'm fine with ranking both those guys ahead of Fleischman. I also think Caden Dowler was another guy that I considered here in this top tier. And we'll get to both those guys in a minute because I think we're both going to agree that they're the next guys. But I think you have to rank Ayat there. Just because of the pure talent, man. Like I was watching him yesterday again, and he's going through some stuff. I know he had a knee injury last year, and they're being really careful with him. I think it's great that he has a coaching staff that wants to be careful with him. Because we don't.
That hasn't necessarily been the case.
We don't need to dog on in the past, but I don't know, man. I mean, you play with Patrick O'Connell, man. His ankle was messed up for like 8 weeks, and they wouldn't let him ever take a break because the ankle injury is not real. We don't need to get into it.
Right.
But the point is, they are using kid gloves on Ayat at practice lately,
as they should.
As they should. But man, like they did let him do some team stuff yesterday. Man, he spins that sucker, man.
Oh my gosh, he freaking spins
it looks
man.
so good. I can't wait to see
it.
Lamson because like the last time I saw pictures of Lamson working out, he looks like he's bigger and stronger too. So that's the thing is these guys we take for granted that they're still so young. These guys get way better. Even now, like you can make another jump. Like Ayat just looks like more of a grown man to me. He put on 10 or 12 pounds.
Yep. Like
he's got a stronger arm, and I'm excited to see Lamson in person too because I think that's going to be the case with him too. But I'm totally fine with Ayat at number 3. Appreciate Samuel Akem for joining us here on Nuanez Now. He will help us spearhead Inside the FCS with Sammy Akem each Tuesday here on Nuanez Now, so stay tuned for that. We'll have a new one coming your way tomorrow. But in the meantime, we'll take a break. The Montana Football Hour rolls on. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. It's 102.9 ESPN Radio. Welcome back. It's Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. I'm Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company Grizzly Disposal. Locally owned, veteran-owned, the only Bears that should be in your garbage. Zack Cruz certainly has had an inauspicious and very maligned start to his football career. If you don't, his college football career, that is. After an outstanding run at Missoula Sentinel, where he helped lead the Spartans to back-to-back state championships, he then got himself in some off-the-field trouble. You can go research that if you'd like. We've already talked about it a ton here. But now here he is, a fifth-year senior, and I think he has real all-conference aspirations. I think he has real next-level aspirations as well. I am a guy that likes stories of redemption, and I think this is a story of redemption. Here's Zac Crews on Nuanez Now. First of all, you got to start with the trip, man. You guys just went back east, so tell me, what's it like standing in the Oval Office and checking out the Capitol and seeing the president and all the stuff you guys did on Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah, well, I mean, just first off, what a cool experience. That's something not a lot of people in this country get to do, and to share that experience with the team and with all these brothers in the team from last year was just amazing. Standing inside that Oval Office, all the history around that place, and to be able to soak that in and meet our President of the United States was amazing. I was actually just talking to one of our staff here that didn't get to go on the trip, and I was standing like a foot and a half away from one of the original copies of the Declaration of Independence, and
wow.
it was, just feeling that and kind of the presence around that is unbelievable, especially it being the 250th anniversary of our country.
It's crazy. It must have been surreal to be standing in the Oval Office, too. The video that went viral on social media where he called out Josiah Swaggin, he's like, can I get through you? Josiah must have been like, what the heck? The president is talking to me, man. What a surreal experience for him and for all you guys to just be there and stand there in the Oval Office.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he probably had some nerves. I talked to Parker. Parker was the one who came.
Right, gave him the ring.
And Parker said he was shaking when he handed the ring over to him. Just being the president of someone of that caliber, of that importance to our country is like no other.
Yeah, pretty crazy, man. Well, that is just the latest of what has been a whirlwind off season for you guys. Yeah. Everything from coming back to Bozeman and then the parades and the banner unveilings and all that, but also you're still trying to grind to get ready for this season, which is a huge season for you going into your senior year, and also a huge season just for the program in general. So how did you manage it all, both personally and from a team perspective, having so much going on and still trying to keep your focus and keep your drive?
Yeah, I just think the main focus was enjoy what we did and soak it all in from last year, but always have a forward mindset, a mindset where we're going to improve each and every day. And so going into summer workouts and conditioning and stuff like that, just knowing that we're going to have a target on our back. We're going to have to prove what we did last year, and it's not that it wasn't any fluke and that we can go do it again. And so, like I said, just trying to enjoy everything that came with last year's season, but then again, keeping your eye on the horizon and knowing that we got another season to go play and to go do it all over again,
Well, you've had sort of a pretty common theme each offseason for a long time, even since before you got there, and just trying to figure out a way to get over the top. Montana State's been so good, but was right on the brink, but never could break through. But now you have broken through. So how does that sort of change your mindset as an athlete? You kind of go from being the hunter to the hunted now.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think it changes anything. We just hit the reset button and we go do it all over again. So, not changing our mindset, going 1-0 each and every day, working to improve. Every time we step on the field, getting 1% better. That's our mindset. I don't think winning the national championship last year has changed any of that. I think, honestly, it has driven more and more people in our building to just go do it over again and start from square one.
When you need motivation, what do you think about? Like, what's the thing that drives you forward right now?
Honestly, just that feeling of getting the job done. Not a lot of teams get to finish the year on a win, especially on that stage. And so each year the goal is to end the season on a win. And so that's the motivation I have.
Well, I haven't talked to you since the national championship. So take me through just your perspective. And that was one of the greatest games I've ever seen. I'm sure it was crazy stressful to be a part of, but then so fun to celebrate when you guys actually do get the game-winning touchdown in overtime. So take me through just your seat, especially when Taco scored and Miles kicks the extra point and you guys realize, wow, we're taking the trophy back to Bozeman.
Yeah, so I kind of had a pretty neat perspective. I was kind of on the opposite 30-yard line. I was on a knee, kind of just in my own world, trying to, calm myself because of the nerves. But I remember Justin threw that ball, and I couldn't even see Taco over the O-line. So I'm thinking, oh boy, well, what's going on here? And to see Taco run underneath that ball, catch it, score a touchdown, and then have Miles line up and just getting flashbacks to NDSU a few years ago. I mean, just because Taco scored that touchdown didn't mean we won. And so seeing our PAT take the field and knock it through was just surreal. I remember Brian Langford was standing next to me, and I just gave him the biggest hug, and we kind of shared a moment there. And then just seeing everyone on the field was just able to celebrate. You get a roller coaster of emotions. Everything from joy, happiness, excitement to I don't know. It's just an out of this world experience.
Well, it was so cool, too, to see, first of all, the showing of Bobcat Nation down in Nashville, but also to see just like the generations of guys that have played for the Cats and like how much that meant. Like I was standing with guys that played on the 76 team. It's been 50 years since those guys won a championship. And I mean, they were crying like babies, man. It meant the world to them that you guys won, which is so cool. Then we had Lulay over here, Travis Lulay, former great quarterback. He was so nervous when it went to overtime. He ran out of the stadium and went and threw up and then came back in. I was like, Travis, you got to get back in here, man. But, I mean, to represent something that means so much to so many people from so many different generations, that also just has to mean the world to you guys.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I got to see Tommy and like Brody after the game and just seeing those guys and what it meant to them, even though they're not on the team, and how bad they wanted it when they played. And to be able to share a moment like that with them was truly special. And it just reminds you why we wear Montana State on the front of our chest and our last names on the back, because it really gives the university first and then your self-pride. And I mean, that goes with everything that we do. We try to put the team before us in everything. If it's football, school, in the community, everything we do, we try to put the team first.
Zac Cruz joining us, defensive end, senior defensive end for the Montana State Bobcats. So a little bit of fanfare for you this last week. You get named to the preseason All-League team. So what was your reaction when you heard that?
I was pretty excited. I actually didn't see it myself. I heard it from a couple other people that sent it to me. So, I mean, it's a good way to find out, I guess. But, yeah, it's a true honor. I'm excited for it. But that list only means so much. We got a big year ahead of us. We got to go still play those games and earn that right. So I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you've had an interesting career because you've had a great career, as well as one where you've sort of had to wait your turn because you've had so many great players on the defensive line as well. So I know you've gotten plenty of action, but now you get a chance to be sort of one of the lead guys on that defensive line unit. So how are you feeling about that, and what sort of things will you do to sort of raise your play, but also your leadership of that defensive line?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I had the opportunity to follow some of the greatest Bobcats in D-line history, I would say, just showing me the way, honestly. So I got the opportunity the last 3 years to follow Brody, Ben, Kenny, Hunter, even Paul and Alec and all those guys, FG and Seabass, just to name a few. But those guys have shown me what it means to be a leader on this squad, and especially in this unit, and showing me what it takes each and every day at practice, in game, all of it. And so moving forward, I kind of just try to resemble what they did when I was younger and try to give that to the young guys now.
You're listening to the Montana Football Hour, probably presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn here on Nuanez Now. Abigail Coburn has built her reputation on federal drug cases, mastering search and seizure challenges, dismantling weak evidence, and navigating sentencing guidelines to help her clients. This experience makes her an ace when it comes to criminal defense, strategic, relentless, and focused on protecting your future. If you're facing federal drug charges, call Ryan Miller and Coburn and ask for Abigail Coburn today. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys. More with Zac Cruz right now.
Well, take me through the rest of the defense. On the back end, that's obviously a huge storyline coming into fall camp with some of the guys that left, but you also have some great senior leadership coming back. One of the best players in America, and Caden Daller anchor in the secondary. So how key will it be for you guys to have some corners emerge here these next couple of weeks during fall camp? And just what do you think just about the secondary and sort of the new look they'll have this year?
Yeah, we had some turnover in that position, but I just think that those guys that are still here and still are on this squad are super athletic, super gifted, very smart, very dialed into our schemes. They work their tails off. Caden obviously being one of the leaders in the back end, his communication, how he goes about working each and every day, overcoming obstacles is truly unbelievable. You got guys like Taki, Taden, Dakari, all those guys. They've been in our program way long enough to know how we operate and how we get down, and so they're able to take those young guys that have maybe transferred in, maybe just got here as freshmen, and take them under their wing. And I know that they're in good hands, especially with our coaches and the leaders that we have.
Well, very good. The other two guys I wanted to ask you about quickly before we let you go, I'm writing a little story on the offensive line, so I know you go against those guys a lot. Yeah, First of all, start with Braden Zimmer, because, you talk about that, he defines getting thrown to the fire. He gets thrown in there against Oregon. He's going against a future first-round pick. He's swimming. But then by the end of the year, he's one of the best players in the country on the offensive line. So where did you see him grow, and how much did his growth sort of stabilize that offensive line for you guys?
Yeah, that's a testimony to his hard work, his work ethic, and his athletic ability. That dude, a lot of people think that the O-linemen are just big, slow, fat guys. That's not the case with our O-line, especially with Zim. The dude is extremely athletic, extremely flexible, got good length, and he put on size. Like, he came in, like you said, got through into the fire. He was a little bit undersized, but all of the season last year and this offseason, it's just been putting on weight, getting bigger, getting stronger, getting quicker, and so the dude's got tremendous upside. I'm excited to see what he does this year. It's gonna be good.
And I'm sure you've had your battles with Fleischman as well. I know he's got inside, outside. But what makes him one of the elite players in the country?
Yeah, just a utility knife. He can do it all. He's been around. He's got a lot of experience. Another dude that, age comes a little bit of immobility, but that hasn't been the case with him. He's fought through some injuries, but he still moves like he's a sophomore out there. And so another dude with great size, great weight behind him, and very tough, very smart, a leader on that O-line, and like you said, he's just a good dude on and off the field. One of the best leaders we have in the locker room is always giving out hugs, giving out high fives, and dude's just fun to be around, and he's going to do great things in the coming year too.
Well, last thing for you, then, given your whole football journey and all the things that have gone on with you, how excited are you now to be in your last year for Montana State and then playing your senior season for the Bobcats?
I can't wait, man. It's flown by. People warn you that the 4 years goes by quick, but man, I couldn't imagine being in the spot 4 years ago when I was just walking onto this program. It's been truly amazing. It's been a blessing, and I can't put into words how excited I am. It's going to be a good season. I'm excited to do it with the squad that we have.
Appreciate Zac Crews, Samuel Akem for joining us. Thanks so much for you listening as well. We'll have more college football talk tomorrow, but for now, we'll take a break, come back, talk all things NFL. Specifically, we'll talk about the AFC and the NFC North. Hour 1 in the books. Hour 2 coming your way. Don't change that dial. All football all the time. NFL style coming your way on the other side. It's Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio.